Hello, crew. All right. Excuse me, I about swallowed my tongue again. Gonna need that thing. So this is what we did last, and as we go, I'm thinking of body proportions, all that stuff. But remember, this is just a concept sculpt, and we're just trying to get our head around a whole bunch of variables before we go and get ourselves, too much further. So I'm gonna now go in with the cravat or with the necktie. And to do the necktie, I'm going to append a simple poly mesh or polysphere. And I'm just going to call it necktie. I forget what it was called. I'm going to go into scale this down, position it like that. We got to, of course, bring it forward a little bit. Okay, in. Stretch that out, up, maybe a little bit. Rotate that a little bit so I can set myself up for a little bit of success, and then pull that back into the skin. They're about right there. All right, cool. So we got that little piece. Now we probably need something around the neck itself. So I've got a lot of choices, but in this case I'm going to go BI, and I'm going to use the insert primitives. And I'm going to insert a cylinder in here. And so I want to insert a cylinder, no edge, inner lip. Let's just add that one. Again, I'm going to center my piece. Yeah, that'll work. Scale that down. Probably like about like that. Okay, that's probably okay. And then let's move that inside. Transparency on. Like that. There we go. Let's go transparency off. All right. Now, I still got this thing masked off. So I can come in here, or I can invert that and get these back up in there a little bit so that they're connected. Okay. And then the last thing that we can do is we come in BI, go into the primitives, and I'm going to pull out a cube. And I'll put the cube right on the body. And then scale it down. Nice and thin, scale it out, right? Because this thing has a little bit of volume. Let's go in and see what kind of trouble we get into here. So I'm going to take all of these off. There we go. All right. So I got to get that a little bit inverted. And move it down. So it sits a little bit right there. Okay, cool. All right, invert. And these all have separate subtools, or not subtools, but polygroups, sorry. So I'm going to Control-Shift, mask, click, Control-Shift, click, and then invert. So I want to just scale this one in a little bit. Move brush. You can use inflate, negative, pressing Alt. Yeah, that works. And then isolate that. And let's just move them up. You can always mask. And then move that up. Invert the mask. No, that doesn't work. Okay. All right. Just tuck that in. We don't care about what it interpenetrates inside there. Cool. All right, so we can come in now, get a little bit of wee sculpt in here, and I have done my part of showing you, how you might be able to kind of pull something out of some simple shapes. And that's all we really want. You don't need to, especially like imagine you're sculpting. Like here, let me see. There is this beautiful sculptor on Instagram. Let me look at the messages. Oh no. All right, here we go. I found him. All right, take a look at this work. Holy crap. Okay. Let's say right here, look at this piece. Okay. So you think he's trying to make this look real, or you think like, is he just grabbing a piece of clay and putting that in and letting these things intersect and jamming them in? And most importantly, what he's focusing on is the dimensionality of all of these pieces and making sure that there is, enough thickness and that they stand out and they feel dimensional, right? And some more than others. Okay, so that's your job as well. Is just lay down this stuff. Don't get too caught up. Okay, and then once you've got something like this, like maybe we can go in and dynamesh this. Let's just dynamesh 32. Yeah, no, 28. Okay, that could work. This isn't a good relationship. This piece right here. I need to move that forward. And let's go 256. Cool. Alright, and we can do symmetry real quick. Okay, and then damn standard brush. It's got to be divided more, probably closer to 1,000,000. There we go. And let's turn symmetry off. It's not going to work here. And it doesn't benefit us. It's not like this is hard. Okay, and then I'm going to come in here with slash brush. /3. Where are you? Right there. Okay, this is a trick I saw them use in Horizon Zero Dawn. Where is our cravat? Yeah. If you want to kind of pull this out, let's go into stroke. 0.05. It's pretty hardcore. Okay, doesn't look too horrible. How are those ties tied? Tied like a necktie? I don't know. Okay, but let's put some symmetry on, and let's at least start to establish some crazy here. Turn symmetry. Come on. I'm going to have to stroke that way. Okay, let's get that nice little round. Okay. And then let's go back into /3. It's just such a good brush for doing this stuff. S/3. And turn my symmetry off. Lower my intensity. Again, just have fun. You know, I'm not happy with these wrinkles, but I'm not here to be happy. I'm here to, you know, just get in there and be in the suck and make something happen. Okay, now I'm going to press Alt. Okay. Probably could pull that in a little bit, so let's put some symmetry on. Alright, we got to do more work later on if we want to, but not too shabby for us working from a distance, yeah? Now, we've got our cravat. What else do we need to put in there? We need to put the gloves. We need to put the boots as well. And then there's some accessories, and I think he jumps in with accessories. But I'm going to jump in and start working on boots and these other pieces first before I get too far down this line. Okay, so let's go into our piece here, and we're going to duplicate that, get rid of the other one, and lasso. Why am I doing that? Let's select the lasso, and let's just grab right there. Okay, how does that work with everything else? We can get rid of right there. Kind of want to grow that one, just to be careful. So visibility, grow. Okay, now what about the pants? And the concept, right below the knee. I like it. All right. Now geometry, modify, delete the hidden, and delete the higher, so we don't have to deal with any of that stuff. And then so we want to close the holes. Okay, and the fingers, these we're going to keep the general topology that we have here. So I'm going to come in and hide these pieces. and split them off. Okay, so I'll have the gloves, and then I'll have over here the boots. Okay, now with the gloves, again, keep them the same. With the boots, got to change this up. We don't want a bunch of toes. What kind of crazy is that? So insert them or inflate them into each other, just in a general sense. You don't have to do anything too significant. Okay, once you've got them inflated, it's geometry, Dynamesh. I'm going to go just a little bit higher, like that. Okay, and that I think will work, but we want to inflate them a little bit. And a nice little trick is to just take your brush all the way to the top, and it'll inflate the entire thing. Okay. So I think that'll work just fine. Yeah. All right. Now I'm going to turn perspective off, and we got to do a little bit of work here. Well, looks like we got to do a little bit more. So I'm going to make a little bit of a thicker heel here, and I'm going to bring it down right there. Yeah. Okay. Then we've got to get that to be as though there's a heel there. Okay, and then let me grab a little bit of that heel. And there should be a nice little trick here. I'm going to invert this, go into move, and I can use the gizmo or I can use this, it doesn't matter. But there's no subdivision level, so I should be able to press Control and extrude out a piece. That should technically be what I can do. It does create like this, it's not a very clean one, so sometimes what we do is we go edge loop and we see edge loop masked border. And see how that creates a nice edge? So then I can come in, and with the move brush, I can actually shape that in the shape of a heel better. There you go. Probably move that back a little. All right. Then I'll mask that and invert. And so now when I come into move, I can again press Control. What is it? Is it Shift? Oh, it is Control. I was pressing Shift. And it'll extrude it out. And I can do that again. So Control and then press Shift. And then Control and then press Shift. Alright, so nice little trick. I don't feel good about the way these are rolled, though. So while it's low, I'm going to come in here and fill in like a little heel back here. I'm going to use a standard brush right there. There you go. Now, I'm not sold on that, and I need to take another look. But for right now, again, you know, we're not trying to make, you know, too much magic. But let's Dynamesh this. Let's Dynamesh this at a higher level. Okay, and then let's trim it. So I'm going to go Control Shift, and I'm going to clip, not trim, sorry. I'm going to clip the bottom. Control Shift, drag that out, and then just find myself a nice little base. Okay. Then, you know, if I need to, I can extend that stuff down a little bit. But, you know, now we have a foundation for us to work with. And then we can divide this a couple more times. And what do you think we do? We can come in and we can sketch in this top piece if we want to, which I think is a legit thing to do. So I would just come in, add the geometry like this. Sorry, I'm not adding geometry. I apologize. Just add the edge. You always sculpt the lip first. And then you can kind of trim it back. Give that a little bit more of an upper lip. Tag those guys in a little bit. Okay, and then, you know, it's super soft, so I go in with the Move Brush, AccuCurve, and it really doesn't take a lot to start to make those nice and shiny. Okay, and then we can come in with our damn standard. Let's get a nice edge in there. Let's see if we can get a little bit of depth in there, maybe. And then I'll press Alt to get a little bit of a lip. Let's turn that floor off. So you can decide how clean and nice you want to make these. I'm not going to get all sentimental because there's a lot of production. There's a lot more for you to kind of work through. So now I'm going to go into the gloves and show you a little bit on that. So same kind of deal. You can use the inflate brush, take the brush to this highest level. And why don't we save it first? Because anytime I start doing that stuff, I'm like, I get nervous. Those like little special features in ZBrush where you're like, yeah, it's so neat. Ah, mommy! It crashed. Don't have to inflate a ton. And if you're having problems inflating when you do something, whether you're doing like a paladin's gloves or you're doing gloves here, you can always put this in a layer. I don't like to use layers. They're annoying, but you can always like just go in and say, oh, I overdid it. Let me dial that layer back a little bit. I'm gonna go right there. Okay, and then I'll bake it. I don't like layers hanging out a whole bunch. And this is going to go over the top of the, and there's going to be some lace, and there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff going on. All right, cool. Okay, so let's go in with our inflate brush up towards the top. Probably needed to add a little bit more room up there, I think. So don't forget, you can always insert geometry. There's no things here, so I can go into the Z modeler brush, hover on an edge, and I can just go in and insert some geometry in there, just to make that a little bit cleaner. But it did not like just working with those guys alone. You can also not use inflate and actually just kind of move them out like that a little bit. And then we'll pull these up a little bit. I think it inflated a little bit weird. Alright. Now we're going to divide. And we're going to do a couple of things here. Let's go the damn standard brush. And if I remember right, let's take a quick look at gloves and female arm gloves. Okay, we're going to need to probably set some sort of seam, and let's divide this till we're closer to 1,000,000. Need a little bit more structure in these. I'll see if we can't kind of put these in, quickly. This isn't even really technically necessary. It's just super fun. I'm going to come with the standard brush now and start to create like these little lips where these sewn pieces kind of connect. This one's probably going to get a lot of variation. It was right there. Okay. All right, so I'm going to come in now and I'm going to add a little bit more structure here. Maybe even going to the lower subdivision levels. But what you see me doing is kind of squaring things off a little bit. That's what I mean by add structure. Square it off. almost like hard surface mechanical shapes. Just really help you get this locked in. I'm not going to sweat what's going on down here too much. And we definitely want to remove the knuckle, the feeling of the knuckle, as much as possible. I'm going to lift that. I'm going to lift that and lift it. Ah. You're going to feel good, bad, like a million things about your work. Just make sure you're having fun. Okay. And go up your subdivisions. So that'll help, but you see how I see the knuckles too much? That the knuckles are what makes it a finger. And so that's a kind of a real problem for me. I'm going to try to see if I can't dynamesh this. And give me like a little bit of some different tools there. Yeah, that's kind of nice. So now I'm going to come in, and that geometry was just hitting it hard. And I'm going to make that more of a, let's divide it, of course, more of a straightish plane, not a knuckle. And of course the knuckle, a lot of what you see is actually on the side. So let's go in and fill in the space between what used to be the knuckles. Almost kind of, again, hard surfacing these guys. And let's go in and inflate these fingertips. Okay. Getting there. Do your best. Let's inflate. Inflate. And I'm going to come in here real quick and tamp down some of those fingernails, or those things. The knuckles. Alright. Definitely got to go in and sculpt some, or look at some gloves a little bit more to get my head around all of it. But I'm going to say I'm kind of done, with that enough to just, because there's a lot of straps and things like that I'm going to have to add. Let's get her in there. And it doesn't entirely feel like hands, kind of does. All right. I'm about to hold my tongue again. Let's get her feet tucked in there so we don't have that kind of weirdness. And then what else do we got to do? Well, I'm going to say let's go for the jacket, right? So if we come back here to the concept, let's take these guys off. We've got roughly this. We don't have the belt. I want to do the belt. I want to do all that stuff at the end because it's all just one kind of technique. But we probably need to get the coat, and I think there's a lot of complexity built into this, so it's going to be a little bit of a struggle to kind of figure some of that out. But it's going to be wise to figure that out in 3D. And then, of course, let's have some fun with a little bit of a hat. See if we can't pull something together to just get a sense of structure. All right, so let's go in here, and how am I going to do that jacket? That's a bit of a beast right now. So I'm going to look at the mood board because that's actually like the concept got a little cray-cray. and could be hard to implement. But this is the concept here, which looks like we've got definitely some interesting cuts, like it's cut here and sewn across, so I'll have to work with that. But other than that, we're kind of wrapping it around and it folds over big here, and then this gets smaller as it comes around into the back around the neck and back down. So how could this be done? Doody, 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 doo. Let's take a look. I'm going to put this up here, out of the way. And of course, the general modes for this are, we could put a sphere in here. I'm going to try something, that actually I've seen happen many, many times. And that is to get the base of this. Whoops. We got to go Control Shift, select lasso, symmetry zone. Get the base of this because it is sleeveless. So I'm going to come in and say here, right there, into the chest area. And then cut away right there. All right. Let's undo and grab some of these. And I think I should be able to kind of pull it together, from that. Okay, I need a little bit of neck for show. And do I need all of that? Let me touch there so I can be clear. I can use that loop right there, but that's not a really good loop. So I'll come in and find right there. And I will trace that. I like that. That works. Let's get those little small pieces into it. Voila. Let's look at our neck. Neck really, we got some problems with that. And with the legs, I think we're going to, right there, so we have a nice even cut point. Get some of that butt. There, that's good topology, that's good topology. The neck is the only crappy topology side of this. So I'm going to try something. I'm going to mask this. And I'm just going to see if this works. I don't know if this works, but we'll go edge loop, masked border. Okay, I don't need the higher subdivision levels, so I delete those. Edge loop, masked border, and yeah, look at that. That gives me actually some really nice edges. So now I can select this, go to geometry, and I need to modify topology and say delete hidden. Okay. Once we get here, can I extrude this edge? That is possible but dangerous. So let's hit here. So we're going to extrude that edge, and we're going to extrude. Yeah, let's go right there. Hover over, and then I think as I pull out, I tap Alt. There's some power here actually. So let's do this. Now I'm going to mask all these guys and just move them down. Where's my gizmo? There it is. Unlock it. Masks. Let's just go world. Orientate it. Drag those things down, and let's look at our concept. Okay, down around the feet. Do I have symmetry on? Let's just scale it out. Okay, now I got, problems, but I can start to smooth to get these guys to fit in. That has pros and cons though. I can also come in with that and just start inserting a bunch of loops, I think. Should be hover over an edge, go to insert, and now I could actually insert multiple edges here as well. Multiple edge loops. Let's just cycle up. There you go. You see how we're going to just bring that up, get that relatively consistent with the size of the polygons before. Yeah. Okay. So that way I don't get too crazy. But we do have to find a way to cut this. And we got to be careful at the end here. Are those creased? Could be creased. Let's go into crease and just say uncrease all. But it's actually just a functionality of edges and I should say boundaries. It doesn't work well. This is one of the reasons why we actually close a mesh, so that we can get, at least acceptable results there. All right. So let's just open this up, and I'm going to see if there is any room. What we probably need to do is inflate the whole thing. Gonna have some problems back there. Whoa, gonna have problems all over. All right, sorry. Okay, so will this work for me? Okay, and get that out and around, right? Yeah. These boundaries are going to be a real problem. All right. Now, can we take this geometry? It's undivided. Can we cut it anywhere and start to wrap it in any particular way? And of course, the answer is yes, we can. But it can be really problematic when we go in and start to move things around. So for example, let's come in and let's find an edge like that. And I'm going to come in here and take that edge down. Okay, cool. All right, and so I'm going to just show you this process real quick. I'm going to delete the hidden, and then let's turn symmetry off, and so you can mask one side. Symmetry's off. And then you can take this side and move it over. Like that. That has some potential to do something kind of useful, I think. But we're going to always kind of run into, certain problems. With the sculpting at the edges, the seams, there's a whole bunch. So I'm going to try, what happens if I close the hole here? And then I lose that whole center leg in there. So I'm going to switch this out entirely. And I'm going to come all the way back to this. And I'm going to close the holes here. And let me show you how I'm going to go in and get things the way I want real quick. Because it's too hard to work these edges when you're sculpting. And it's not worth it. The benefits you'll see here in a second. I can, there's many ways I can do things. So I'm going to turn symmetry off and I'm going to just carve in. And so if the concept has this like little leg exposed and the back of that exposed as well, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to right there. I need to move this up where I can see it. For some reason my brain is not registering. Okay, there we go. Yeah, okay. Comes to the edge, comes down. Okay, and then this is going to open a little bit like that. Okay, now that I've got that there, I can come in and push all these guys back. And as I start pushing these things back, I can Dynamesh. Probably need to try 512. Don't freeze your subdivisions. That's too much. Let's try 256. Dynamesh. Yeah. That's perfect. So now, come on. Why are you misbehaving? I can basically hollow out this interior. And I'll be able to kind of adjust and fix a great many things because I'm using Dynamesh. So all this interpenetration goes away. And so in fact what I really need to do is I just need to hollow it out. Okay, and then I'm going to hide this so I can more effectively combat this crazy back here. That's looking dangerously close. There you go. Alright, look at this crappy job I did here. Now, let's come up here and see if I can't do an even crappier job. Pulling off the shoulder. Let's show the head as well. No, it's too low. Actually, it does go that low. Gonna go right there. Cuts across. Comes down along the shoulder, but up right there. So build that up. Comes around the side. Dynamesh it to just start to turn some of these lumps into something. Okay, I got a general stroke going on like that. Then there's this stroke that comes this way. This is all no good, right? So make sure at this point you're coming in and you're saying in auto masking, backface masking. This is one of the problems with this kind of methodology. Get yourself in trouble. Okay, now I gotta actually turn that off because I'm gonna have to adjust that. Okay, there we go. Back on, and I'm sorry I'm working really fast because I'm getting tired. I'm also getting a little bored, right? So I want to work fast. I want to get some energy into this and just see what I can do. If I can do anything, and then we'll go from there. Let's okay. In the back, you can see in the back this gets lifted up. Let's turn AccuCurve off. Like that, there you go. symmetry. Okay, all right. So we're looking not too shabby there, but of course now you know the drill, right? We got to go into the move brush, AccuCurve. Set that back, that was an accident. And then we need to start creating these shapes. Get these lines. Okay, let's go right there. And actually, I want that to push in. And then the collar kind of diminishes right there. Okay, and symmetry on. I'm going to tighten this till it gets close to the body. We may have to do a lot of that, and with Transpose Master we may need to come in just to get the form back, and so that we can ignore the body itself. All right. Now I'm not done with this, but let's turn AccuCurve off. There you go. Let's get our volume a little bit better. We really got to work out what we're going to do here, right? So I'm going to move those guys in. It's a good thing we're doing this so we can kind of see that. Okay, now I can divide the model, and you can, as you wish, start to tailor the surface like you're a sculptor. I'm going to come in with this rake brush of mine, and I'm going to go into alpha, and I set the alpha and tile to 2. This gives me a little bit tighter of a surface. I think I actually have some other brushes. I'm going to try a rake number 4. Okay, but all of this starts to be overkill because you're not getting paid for this. This is us kind of doing this extra step to just make sure that we aren't going crazy. And at the same time, practicing our sculpt. Okay, and I'm doing this video real time, so I am expecting that you guys are, crushing through this and, streaming this as fast as you can, skipping ahead, all that kind of stuff. I am expecting that. No, it is rake number 4. Look at that though, the form, the way it just kind of melts form. Blows my mind. Mask. Press Alt right there. All right. Good. We good? We good? Okay. How about a little cowboy hat? And that'll wrap up like our block in for this, and then we'll go in and start worrying about laces and all of that other, important kind of stuff. The accessories, the things that really help sell it, right? Let's go in deep on that. And I want some dimensionality. Okay. That's no good. I could make a cleaner shape here, but I'll save that in case I ever actually have to adjust the sculpt or use it. All right, don't take much. You can put some sweep in there if you want to. We could come in with a standard brush and you could be like, all right, that's a sweep of this. And then you just do these long kind of strokes, right? So that gives a little bit of the movement that sometimes people want to see. You can also experiment if you're feeling so inclined with some of the cloth features, but I'm not feeling so inclined on a project like this. Let's mask the lasso. Get that locked in. Then I can come in. I want to make that a little touch more naturalistic. And there you go. All right. Hat. Cowboy hat. How do we want to do a cowboy hat? Man, I don't know. That's the last thing I want to do in this video. But I'm inclined to think, hey, why not make a cube? And their top of those hats are a little bit, like that. And maybe, just maybe, let's go into the polygon faces. I'm in the Z modeler now. I'm going to extrude that out. And I'm going to select the Q mesh and say poly loop. Extrude that out. Maybe, just maybe, it's as simple as that. Right? So let's see. Poly frame, symmetry, move brush, and I'm going to be a little bit careful. Okay. Let's just mask those guys so I don't. Those are what I'm worried about. Okay. Now, let's mask these guys out and then invert it. Let's take a look at the concept on the other side. I don't think we're too far off. Okay, now I'm just going to do smaller. All right, let's insert some geometry. But I'll insert a single edge loop to just hold the line, kind of hold the top. Or actually what I probably want to do is bevel this. Okay. Then I do want to come back here and, yeah, let's bevel those. Let's bevel those a little bit. Let's go into the bottom, Alt-click, and just single polygon. And then Do it again. There you go. I don't need to worry about getting too much. And then let's just go into geometry, dynamic subdiv, and see what dynamic subdiv does for me. Okay, so that looks kind of nice. Move brush, and now I'm actually using the smooth proxy type methodology. If I turn this off, you see I'm actually adjusting the low polygons like I might inside of Maya or with some other modeling tools. And let's get that in, but, well, I need it relative. Okay, so those have to move out quite a bit, I think. Okay, and then do we have enough geometry to roll an edge? So I'm not going to do too much division yet. I'm going to go back into Z Modeler, hover over an edge, say Insert, Multiples. It's seeing the bottom. There we go. Okay, so that's okay. Let's go into rotate, turn the gizmo off, drag a transpose line out. Look at that. Can't do that on just one, right? Try it again. Turn our dynamic subdiv on. And maybe what we'll do before we do this is, oh, I see. There's not enough geometry there. So now might be an appropriate time to divide. Rotate. Let's get a little bit more and blur it. Okay, that's good enough for me for now. Here's our person, turn solo off, and then I will append that hat, which we made at a totally different scale. That's okay. Turn the gizmo on, scale it to that head, put it down right there, make any kind of scale adjustments you might need to make. So usually tilted back. Move brush. Okay, make that a little bit wider. Maybe we got overzealous with the brim. And then if I need to go any higher, I'm gonna, oh yeah, good, I got the snake hook. I'm gonna take one side up, and snake hook is a fantastic brush for just like changing forms, and yeah, it's just a special brush. But you got to be careful because it'll start to introduce some weaknesses in the form pretty quick. And let me try this real quick. I kind of want to use a transpose line right there to kind of just bend that up a little bit too. Okay. But it does have a pretty hard, and I know I've seen them do this, you know, where I'm in Texas, of course, where they mold these things the way you want them. There's a little steamer, some kind of horn device. What do you think? All right, now in the next lesson, we're going to need to go in and take a look at some of the straps, any kind of accessories, laces, stuff like that.